Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
I'm so pleased that you joined us today, and this is the second in our series of programs about the Odessa Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to be focusing today on tourism. A lot of people don't realize that Odessa was at the forefront in going out and really working to cultivate Odessa and the Permian Basin as a destination for their conferences. And so, I mean, that was way back in the 70s before you were born. But I am so pleased to have her come and talk to us about tourism because it's such a broad subject. You're going to meet Lawanna Lambert, who is the State Association sales specialist for the Odessa Chamber. And before we start, Lawanna, I want you to tell a little bit about you and how you got to the Chamber.
Well, I am a native Odessan.
Okay,
born
good.
right here. Love Odessa, have a heart and a passion for Odessa. And how I wound up at the Chamber is kind of an interesting thing. I am an active Chamber ambassador. And at my previous employment, I was a Chamber ambassador, and I was stepping up into the roles of the chairman, and I was filling in for the chairman at the time as a co-chairman, and attended one of the board meetings because your chairman has a position on the board. And I was sitting right next to Linda Sweat, the CVB director, and she had mentioned that they were in need of a servicing person. And I said, you know, I need to talk to her about that. And so afterwards I said, hi, my name is, and she's like, hey, I've heard all about you, come visit with me. And before you knew it, I was working in the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, and I am an active ambassador now, so I have a passion for it.
Well, but a lot of people would say, I don't even know what a Tourism and Convention Bureau does. What in the world? So
Exactly.
And so because you were an ambassador, you already had a little bit of understanding.
A little bit, not what I do now.
That's
It's a very broad, it's eye-opening. When you step into it, there's a lot to it.
Because when you say Convention and Visitors Bureau really fast, that doesn't sound like, but conventions and conferences is one whole different thing from other kinds of tourism that you work with. So let's talk about what is the scope of it.
You know, looking at just the definition of a CVB, or a Convention and Visitors Bureau, that's just where you go to get your information to find out about your city. When you look at the Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, we're a passionate group of individuals who are very eager to get out and pull people into Odessa. We want people to come check out what we're all about. We want people to see the little nooks and crannies in Odessa that people don't know exist. There are things here that people who have been here for years don't know exist.
Which is the sad thing.
It is, but that's why you have your CVBs to educate you and to pull people in. You have, of course, like you said, your conventions, you have your meetings, you have your tours, you have your, your leisure travelers, you have your bus groups, you have...
Bus groups are a whole new thing.
Yes, and they are a lot of fun.
I know.
Your fam tours, there's just a wide, there's a wide range to what we do to bring people in and all sorts of facets that we look out into.
And you almost have to come into Odessa to really appreciate all the activities that you have and all of the things to see and do.
Right.
Because our residents don't always get up and go see these museums or these craters or all these other things that we have to offer.
Right. You know, the crater's been here, obviously, many of years.
Yeah.
And you learn something new every time you go out there.
That's right.
You know, that crater was originally over 100 feet deep. And now we're at about 6 foot. So there's just so much to know. So much to know.
But you also learn something every time you visit the Presidential Museum.
Absolutely.
Or the George Bush Home or any of these other things.
And they're so fun to visit.
I know.
And all the volunteers that work our attractions are just amazing to talk to, and they've been here and they know, and it's worth getting out and talking to them.
But let's go back and talk. Let's talk just about conventions.
Okay.
And conferences and meetings, because a lot of people don't know how many dollars that brings into the community when you have a convention or when you just have a small conference.
Right. A lot depends on how many stay in our hotels. So you look at a group that'll bring in, say, over a period of 4 or 5 days, they bring in 500 or 600 hotel rooms. That brings a lot of revenue into our city. You're looking at over 750,000 to $1 million. I mean, easily, and that's an estimate, of course. But it does bring a lot. It generates a lot for Odessa.
And those people are spending, even if they're just spending the night or staying with relatives, and and then we'll go home after 2 days. They still spend money while they're here.
Oh, they do. They have to eat. They like to shop.
I know it used to be, the rule of thumb was that every time somebody comes into your city, they spend at least $100 per day. And so that doesn't include the prices of gas that's gone up and some of the other things.
Right. You know, you're looking at probably at least $200 a day per person.
Yeah, that's probably
in the city. So it's
a good new figure.
Absolutely.
But I remember one of the fun conferences that I was involved in was a week-long conference for Sunday school teachers for the Baptist church. And I'm not even a Baptist, but I was involved with that.
I was intended.
And it was so much fun because these people were there to learn and new methods and but they were working from daylight to dawn, and the hotel gave them such good service because you had prepared them for what this conference was going to need.
Right. When I started, I originally started out as the servicing specialist. So once the salesperson sold a conference to come in, they made promises. I fulfilled the promises. So basically, when you look at budget, she spent my money, and I made sure I was happy about it and made sure that the group got what they wanted. And now, you know, things have changed up a little bit. Our salesperson had retired, and I took that position for her, and I'm still doing servicing as well. So it's a lot of fun to talk to your group, get them here, and then make them happy and fulfill those promises that you make to them, and function as their liaison.
Yeah, because
between the hotel,
you have to kind of shepherd them all the time they're here.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want us to then get into tourism in general, because that's another interesting thing, and y'all have done some fun things for our tourists. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this program.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.